My name is Pat Hart. I'm the youth campaign organizer for 350 New Hampshire. And so I work with the youth team. It's a team of youth fellows during the school year and youth interns during the summer. It's a paid internship and fellowship, and so it's all youth led. And there's a lot of like philosophy and thought put behind how we are running the youth program. And at the end of the day, the intention is to have the youth team identify what they want to work on, identify what is they're really passionate about and what is maybe concerning them or what they're really excited about that's going on in our state, and then to support them in with whatever capacity we can, connecting them with the resources that they need, getting their campaign and their voices out into the ether, and give them direction on how to go about being an activist and engaging in the political process in a way that is parallel to the legislature, that's parallel to the executive branch, and to really just like support how they think about how to make change in their community.
Oh, that's great. When you say youth, I want to define that. Are we talking
Totally.
about really young children? Are we talking about teenagers or young adults? Where do you float?
Yeah, so during the school year, I work with a team of high school students here in New Hampshire.
Okay.
So usually around 16 is when we start, because between canvassing or getting around to different events in the state, we are asking them to drive to those.
Okay.
So 16 is usually our like younger cutoff, and then so up until like seniors, so 16 to 18 during the school year, and then during the summer for the internship, we're looking at like 16 to 22. So high school and college age.
Yeah.
And that's both some of the high school students that I work with during the school year. And it's also like some college students that are in state and are here year round. And then there's also some students that are out of state students that live here in New Hampshire or are here in New Hampshire for the internship. And they join us to
Yeah.
supplement their.
I went through the website and
Yeah.
I got kind of like a feel of like what's going on at NH350, right? It is NH350, not 350 NH.
No, it is 350 New Hampshire.
350 New Hampshire.
Yes,
Okay. I
yeah.
just want to make sure that
No,
I'm
no.
clear, just in case anybody wants to look. And
Yeah. I appreciate you clarifying.
and everything that we talk about here, I'll
Mhm.
make sure that there's links to that. So if
Thank you.
anybody's watching, please check the description. There's definitely links, and I want to make sure that everybody's aware of like what your project is. So
Wonderful.
you're working with the youth.
Mhm.
Do you have like anything big like that you've accomplished so far, like that you want to brag about a little bit?
Yes. So I came on to. Oh, thank you.
No worries.
I came on to 350 New Hampshire about 2 years ago now. And so before my tenure, there were a few big wins that the team had. So I just want to like mention those before I get into like some of the
Please.
stuff that we've done while I've been here. A couple of years back, there was a proposed asphalt plant in Nashua, and this asphalt plant would have been just a couple blocks away from their elementary school. It was in a community that didn't have a lot of resources to fight that inherently. And so when the members of the 350 New Hampshire youth team heard about this, they came to the meetings and they were like, we need to do something to stop this. And it's entirely within our purview. So they mobilized their community. They canvassed that area and got to talk to people to A, let them know that it was happening,
Yeah.
and B, to let them know that there were going to be community hearings coming up. And so, I mean, a big part of activism is just getting the right information to the right people. Because if I tell you that somebody's going to be opening up an oil refinery down the road, you're going to be up in arms.
Absolutely.
And you're probably going to think, well, I have all this energy. I have all of these emotions about this thing that is very, quite literally near and dear to my heart and my home. What do I do? And then we have methods and tried and tested ways to get the word out to the right people and to make sure that people's voices are heard. So we filled the room when there were community meetings. We staged like rallies, and eventually the plan was scrapped, because with things like this, whether it's an asphalt plant or the delivery of coal to coal-fired power plants here in the state, if you do things that make it not profitable to continue doing those things, people will stop if it hits the bottom line.
So, I mean, that sounds really powerful, to be honest. Like being able to energize a community to go in and actually like fight for good, for the betterment of their community. That's powerful.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so we also have some stuff that we're doing nowadays. So the youth team this year that I'm working with, I'm so proud of the work that they've done so far, and I'm really excited what they have planned for the spring. They identified that their, I'm sure you've heard, PFAS is this is like forever chemicals. Perm polyfluoral alkyl substances is the acronym. I hope I'm getting that right.
Good on you for even trying.
Yeah. And so these are the forever chemicals that have been around since like the 1950s. We've known for a long time that they damage our bodies, our endocrine systems, our hormones. They're very much carcinogenic, as we've seen very much in Merrimack.
Mm-hmm.
And this came to their attention, and the thing that they were realizing is that when they were trying to talk about this with their peers, like, nobody knew about it.
Right.
It wasn't part of it wasn't on their radar. So for the past couple months, we have gone to schools in their area, science and social studies, and like not poli-sci, but like civics classrooms in their high schools. We've been to a school board meeting and presented that in Hillsborough. Also going to be going to Concord later this month, or next month, not April yet.
Okay, almost. We're close. Yeah.
And raising the issue, and the big ask is here, we want to make the polluters pay.
Yeah.
So one of the main polluters here in New Hampshire is Saint-Gobain. And they did a lot of dumping in Merrimack, which has led to so much damage to the well water in that area, to the soil in that area, and any food that might be grown there. And I think they have been providing water to that region, like bottled, like 5-gallon jugs, because they can't drink the tap water in their own homes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right here in New Hampshire,
mm-hmm.
in Merrimack.
Correct.
And when we say PFAS, we're also talking about microplastics, right? Same?
Separate. Two separate things. So we have microplastics, which, bioaccumulate in the body. I think one of the only like surefire ways to get them out of your body is to like give blood. I could be wrong on that. Somebody fact check me.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm sure I put it in the comments.
Yeah.
Teach us.
But so PFAS, forever chemicals, they're mainly used in things that lubricate. So like, WD-40 has PFAS in it.
And stuff.
Yes, exactly. And ski wax has it. Actually, this past during the Olympics, there were American skiers that were disqualified from performing because the PFAS that was found in their skis for like the wax to make it more like less friction on the snow has been banned all over Europe because we know the dangers of it. But here we are in the United States, and a lot of the ski wax that we use has PFAS because it's a very effective lubricant.
Right. That's a nightmare.
It is.
Like, so the rest of the world's got this.
Mm-hmm.
We don't, because we only care about making money
Yeah.
and just the economy. That's what our whole gist is, right?
Yeah.
And so the rest of the world has it. We banned Roundup. Now our president wants to bring it back.
Yeah.
So I assume to kill more people. And PFAS is all over the news.
Mm-hmm.
I did confuse it with microplastics.
Yeah, no worries.
But there are a lot of technical terms that I think a lot of people don't know. And my point in all of this is try to come at it from somebody that's watching, somebody that, try to think about like, what would somebody ask in this question, in this case. How do we clean this up? Like, do we like, is there any way out of this?
That is something that we're still developing.
Okay.
And by we, I mean
The bigger,
scientists that are working. Yes. We as a humanity, I guess. There was a really interesting article put out by NHPR, I think within the last year, where there was a scientist working to use mushrooms to like
decomposing part.
Yeah, exactly. And like absorbing it from the soil. But I think that we're still a far ways off. One of our really best ways to combat it right now is to stop it at its source and to stop it from entering our ecosystem, from entering the waterway, from entering our soil. One thing that's happening right now within the New Hampshire State Legislature is that there's a farm bill within the Agriculture Department one thing that we have within the state of New Hampshire, and it's common across the U.S., is bioremediation and the use of biosludge in farmland. So one of the byproducts of sewage in our sewage treatment plants is biosludge, which is really just like treated human waste. And unfortunately, that human waste is pretty laden with PFAS. And then we're taking that PFAS-laden biosludge and applying it to our farmland.
And then the cycle
perpetuates. Exactly. So there's a bill in the New Hampshire State House right now.
It's okay. If you don't know the number, it's fine.
No, I don't know. Yeah, no, off the top of my head, it's not there. But it's to regulate it, and then also to start a program where farmers within the state can test their land to see if the bioaccumulation, or rather the accumulation of PFAS within their land has impacted their crops. And now, of course, if you're a farmer and you hear that, well, if I get my soil tested and it's shown to have elevated level of PFAS within it, there goes my livelihood. There goes my way of providing for my family and, continuing to live off the land as I have. So it's my understanding that the bill has protections where there's a fund in the event that it is found that the land is contaminated and by whatever regulation can't be used as farmland anymore. There would be payments sent out to help support the farmers in that instance.
This whole concept is in my head while you're telling me it's playing out, and I'm thinking, this is a nightmare situation. This is one that doesn't disappear in my lifetime. This is one that my kids, my grandkids, so on, will have to deal with. This is very scary. I'm sure this isn't the only thing that you have insight on, but
right,
this is probably up there on like, we got to fix this.
Well, we have to fix this. Yes. I think that the effects of PFAS we're really only scratching the surface of what is happening. One of the representatives in the New Hampshire State House that was actually recently taken out of the science committee, Wendy Thomas. She was removed for reasons that I don't think are legitimate.
They're not.
No.
Yeah.
And has been one of the loudest proponents of regulation around PFAS because of being personally impacted by it.
Right.
She lived in Merrimack for many years, and unfortunately was her health was directly impacted. And so here you have somebody who has every reason to fight to challenge this from being something that will ultimately impact all of us.
Is PFAS cancer causing?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure, because we hear a lot of like cancer causing, I don't know, there's so many things that do it, right? And that's really scary, especially in today's world. We have probably the highest like cancer rate we've ever had in our history.
Yeah.
I lived in South Korea. South Korea is known for stomach cancer. Like all their hospitals have huge wards just to treat stomach cancer.
Okay.
And I'm wondering if we'll ever get to that part. Not necessarily stomach cancer, but like specialized cancers,
Yeah.
that hit us harder. That's just a side thought. I want to ask you
Sure.
about Pease National Guard Base.
Mhm.
Used to be Pease Air Force Base. I hear a lot about that having PFAS and a lot of other things. I just want to tell a little story.
Please, yeah.
When I was in the Air Force, I was when I came in 1996. I was a fuels guy. So my business was fueling aircraft, fueling generators. I worked with gas, gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, all kinds of stuff. That was my livelihood. I didn't want to be a fuels guy. I just went into the Air Force and they were like, "What do you want to be?" I said, "I don't know, surprise me." So they did.
Okay.
I changed after 4 years. I was like, "I don't want to be in this."
Fair enough.
So many of those guys that I've worked with along the line either have died already from cancer or will soon enough. Like, it's really scary when I load up my Facebook and I see so and so passed because of all those nasty chemicals that we touch,
Yeah.
And for me, I mean, you can't really be against fossil fuel, but I'm against us going further with it. We need a transition to green energy, and I know this.
Yes.
Right? Because fossil fuels is a finite resource. It's terrible for our environment. It's terrible for us. There's so many bad things. We'll get to that, I'm sure.
Oh, we will.
But the story I want to tell is when I was in the Air Force in fuels, we put so much bad stuff in the ground. Like, I can remember one time, a tank had gotten overfilled. It was an underground tank.
Okay.
And I was putting diesel in it, I think. And the vent, all the fuel started spraying out of the vent into the ground.
Oh, no.
They didn't care. They were just like, it'll soak it up, move on. I mean, we're talking, that was 30 years ago. But that still sticks with me.
Oh,
The
I'm sure.
fact that was just one story, right? I was with a guy in Saudi Arabia in 1997. We had C5s come down, and we needed to send out 10 fuel trucks to fill one up. This poor guy, he's the last truck. There's 50,000 gallons of fuel in the wings, and his hose comes off of the nozzle. So all 50,000 gallons of fuel coming down with gravity, coming out of this 4-inch hose, and he's covered. The fuel turns his skin pink. I have no idea what ever happened to him, but I never, forget washing him down, him having to be like naked and just scrubbing himself at the fuels thing. So when we talk about like this stuff going into the ground,
Totally. Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen people like covered in it. It is awful.
Yeah.
And I know that's probably a really bold story to come up with.
The reality of it, right?
Yes. Most people won't see that because there's barriers to those images. Like you have to join the Air Force, you have to go into fuels, you have to go fill a gas tank before you see those things. You know what I mean? So there's layers of oh, I didn't know. I never did that. So I think of PFAS now in my yard and in my well and stuff, and it makes me nervous.
Totally.
What other factors are we working against here in New Hampshire in particular?
Yeah. So just to touch on what you were mentioning earlier, it is my understanding that Pease National
Guard.
Pease National Guard.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for that. Because I've been calling it Pease Air Force Base for...
I think they shut down in 1991.
Oh, okay.
And they shrunk it, and it's just a National Guard / civilian airport. So, yeah.
My understanding is that they've done consistent testing of fire extinguishing materials there.
Yeah,
and
halon.
Yes. And a lot of those are laden with PFAS.
Those things are so awful.
Yes.
If you ever have to use a halon fire extinguisher, they're on wheels, and you have to wheel them around the flight line. They're yellow. So, sorry, just giving you a little insider information, but they're horrible chemicals.
I can only imagine. Yeah. And of course, when the testing is done, it gets into the soil, gets into the groundwater, and then and I think one of the things that is important to remember too is DES here in New Hampshire, the Department of Environmental Services, they were based at Pease for the longest time So when I have the utmost respect for the folks that work
Sure.
for DES, and to think that they were so close to that for the longest time, and then now they're the ones doing the testing and trying to find the ways to fix this problem. It must be so personal for them. I can only imagine how it must feel to know that by working in your office as somebody trying to protect the environment, you were exposed to this very deadly chemical.
Yeah. That's real.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, asbestos, those kind of chemicals. There are so many chemicals in our environment that can obviously kill us ultimately.
And one of the other things to remember is that it's such a small amount of it is not safe for us. So it's measured not in parts per million, but rather parts per trillion.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And my understanding is that the safe level that we now have within the state of New Hampshire, again, forgive me if I have this wrong, I say to the
no, that's fine. Yeah.
I think it's 7 parts per trillion.
Wow.
And anything higher than that is like outside of our...
Trillion is such a big number.
It is. And it's so impossible to conceptualize.
No, like my brain just knows it's really big.
Mm-hmm.
And 7 is really small compared to that. So that's almost like fentanyl almost. Like that's the only thing I can connect that to, you know, when you start thinking about lethality, like how little of something that you need. That's scary. That's a big reason why I wanted to do this particular episode, because there's a lot of things I clearly don't know, and I'm fine with that. I think that's part of this journey, is finding people that can bring some sense to me, you know, and to anybody else that might be in my situation. How do the kids get on with this? Like, are they like super ready to go, entrenched, and they want to like change, because their future is this.
Yeah. So
what's their response to you or anybody else, like when you first meet them and they hear this for the first time?
Yeah. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of drive there. And I'm really happy with the response that I've gotten from the youth team as we've been working through this, because there is that agency there where, you know, they see the issues and then they see like, oh, if like I can't just let other people try to address this. I can't try to just leave this up to the adults in the room, partially because some of the adults in the room are the one that were dumping the PFAS.
Right.
This can be something that I work on. This is something that I have the power to change. And once that switch is flipped, once that connection has been made, there is this palpable feeling in the room of let's get to work. And between, you know, planning events and tabling and, you know, making presentations to their peers, it's all connected by this sense of connection to their community, to their environment, and to their future. Like there are plenty of students that I work with who want to live in New Hampshire for their life. Like they want to go out and experience the world, but they see how wonderful of a state this is. I love New Hampshire so much.
Yeah.
I love our lakes and our streams. I love hiking in our forests. I love the bird song and the hearing of rustling of little animals in the wood. And the last thing I want is to, you know, 10, 20, 30 years down the line, be walking through the woods with somebody, say it's my nephew.
Yeah.
And then I say like, hey, I'm sorry, you can't drink that water, or let's not go down to that stream because I know that it's, you know, contaminated. Yeah. I got off on a little tangent, but that's all to say. So
no,
go ahead.
I want you to have as many tangents as you want. There's a lot to unpack here, and I know that we're not going to like tackle it all in one episode, but you know, you got to start somewhere. And speaking of that, I don't want to save that for the end of the episode. I'm curious, if you're 16, you're 17, maybe you have a friend that might be interested in something like this. Like, where does it start? Like, if somebody is just hearing this and they're saying, "Oh my God, I'm young, I'm interested, I want to work with Pat and the whole team." How does that start? How does
Yeah. So like first and foremost, I think the important thing to ask is, and this might be difficult for a younger person. I'm not saying that young people don't have a sense of self, but like it's certainly developing at that time in your life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the question that you want to ask is like, what what can I bring to the table? Like what fills my cup and what can I do to contribute to a movement? Is that, am I a really strong writer and I can write op-eds and letters to the editors? Is it, I have a really great voice and I'm good at public speaking and I can speak to a group at a rally or at a panel discussion or on a podcast?
Yeah.
And also identify like, where do I want to make change? I think that focus is more important than people realize when it comes to these things. And if your focus is climate justice, environmental justice, ensuring that people have clean water, clean air, and a just future,
Yep.
that's something we want you to come to us. So if you are a young person in this state and you're interested in working with 350 New Hampshire with our campaigns, reach out to me. You can find my email on our website. It's pat@350nh.org. And just ask questions. I would be more than happy to meet with people, to chat over email. And if our organization is who you want to be working with, we will find a way for you to contribute what you can to what we're working on.
Yeah.
If you have something that you're really passionate about that's within our like scope of intersectional climate justice, we'll take a look at it. We'll see if there's something that we can do, and if we can support you, we will.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that really makes 350 New Hampshire what we are as an organization is that we want to help people be the best activists that they can be. And that might mean working on reproductive justice issues. That might mean working on like fair funding or any other thing. And like, for example, in the past, we've provided trainings for folks on how to do this kind of work, and they'll go and bring it back to their own communities and work on it in that capacity. Before I move on to, I do want to mention that
Sure.
If you're a young person in this state and you have an interest in doing this kind of work, we are opening up our internship for the summer.
Oh yeah, it is that time.
Yes, it sure is.
How many positions? If you don't,
we have 6.
6 positions.
6 positions.
Okay,
they are
that's good to
paid.
know.
It's part-time. It's about 25, maybe like 30 on the outside a week. And not only do you get the opportunity to like work with us, but you also get some of the skills and training that you can bring back to your high school or bring back to the college that you're going to out of state. And
what an incredible opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I wanted to mention earlier
Yeah.
when we were talking about some of the stuff that the youth team has been doing.
Mhm.
So we're working on the PFAS campaign. One thing that I'm super proud about that they've been working on is so 350 New Hampshire is an intersectional organization. We see that climate justice intersects with so many other fights for justice within our world, that we sit on coalitions, we maintain lines of communication with other organizations. And so it might not seem as though on the surface that like the fight against ICE is connected to the climate justice movement, but there are several threads that connect the two. Fossil fuels are being used to transport people out of our country to countries that they did not come from.
Agreed.
Fossil fuel companies are funding ICE. And so this past couple months ago, some of the youth team members heard rumblings within their high schools and their communities that people wanted to do a walkout from their high school.
Yeah, my daughter took part in that.
Yeah. I'm so glad that she did.
Yeah.
Please tell her thank you.
Absolutely.
And some of the youth team members that I worked with helped coordinate, plan, and use some of the skills that they were learning with 350 New Hampshire to do these walkouts.
We need people that do that.
Yeah.
We need people that organize and make those kind of statements. So I'm excited to hear all of this, because my whole lifetime, and I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like anybody that's around, 50 or 40 maybe,
Mhm.
like, you've spent your whole life with your head in the sand, with the corporations lying to us and telling us like cigarettes are great, that you don't have to worry about, these chemicals, don't worry about this and that, but it's all lies. Our whole country is based on how much money can you make, how much money can I extract from this thing. It's all resources, it's all money. I wish we could get back to the people
Mhm.
and like taking care of people, taking care of our environment. Because I want to go back to what you were saying. I've only lived here for 8 years, just
Okay.
over 8 years. I came here in 2018, and I love this place. I grew up in Connecticut, and
Okay.
I left for 25 years, and then I decided to come here because of family. New Hampshire's gorgeous. I know everybody knows the foliage, and that's wonderful too. But our waterways, are just our towns, the way they're set up, the way our entire state is gorgeous. From an environmental standpoint, it's one of the prettiest places I've ever had the pleasure to be. And I don't want to leave, right? Just because I want to change and I want a healthy environment, I hear people on the other side always saying, well, why don't you leave? Well, how about I don't?
Right.
And then I'm going to stay here and I'm going to fix this. I'm going to fix this so we can all live, a better place, a better New Hampshire, a better future. And I feel like we're a million miles from that. But when I talk to somebody like you and others, it does give me a little bit of like optimism to know that somebody out there cares a little bit about this. And it must be frustrating from your perspective to see the other side trying to dismantle all this while you're trying to build us back up,
Yeah.
And your whole team must feel that on a day-to-day basis, because here in New Hampshire, we're a pretty red state.
Mm-hmm.
And we probably love our fossil fuels. We probably, love our corporations and everything else. That's a rough spot to be in.
Yeah. I do feel that there is an overlap between the approach that I and like other members of my staff have towards environmental justice, where, we see it as this issue that is so inherent to our way of life that we don't want, I don't want the earth that I stand on to be damaged. Like, go figure.
Yeah, it's a good starting
Right.
point from, yeah.
But I think that there is a big intersection between that viewpoint and like the practical application of trying to protect the environment, and perhaps somebody from the other side of the aisle who wants to protect their own personal land, who has a plot of land and wants to make sure that it is free from contamination, that it's free from somebody upstream dumping PFAS into the water. And I think that, like, for example, if we're looking at like the Keystone XL pipeline, I think that those activists made a lot of good choices to engage with some pretty red Republican landowners. And they went and said to them, like, hey, if you allow this pipeline to be built and it spills or cracks, the water that your cattle drink, it's going to be contaminated, and then your entire livelihood is gone.
Yeah. Speaking of that, didn't we have a pipeline that had all kinds of leaks, like in the center of the U.S.? Oh, I don't remember it. Not Nordstrom. It's
I'm sorry.
We went through tribal land, and they were fighting it, and people were getting arrested. This is back in 16, I think, 15 maybe. But anyway,
Yeah.
the point of the whole story is pipelines leak.
Yes.
Pipelines can be damaged, and that is disastrous. If it's on your property, your neighbor's property, like, people just think like these are my boundaries. But if your neighbor is over there messing with some chemicals and it gets into the soil, it's going to make it to your well. It's going to make it to your property. So I'm glad somebody's out there talking to the other side, right?
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
these things are harmful.
Yes. And I mean, so one of the other ways that 350 New Hampshire gets engaged in this process is we do engage with the legislature, and we endorse candidates that we believe are fighting the good fight and are climate champions. And we call out representatives that spout BS about climate change and in our environment. One thing that I think is also very damaging to our functioning of our state as a government is the Free State Project and that whole caucus within.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are trying to wrap their head around all of that right now.
Yes. And you know, when you were talking earlier about, you know, this hypothetical person saying like, well, why don't you just leave?
Yeah.
I think that that's like tenant number one in the Free Stater. Like, we need to make things so bad that these people leave our state.
Yeah.
And
they literally said that 2 weeks ago. They are purposely passing laws to make Democrats want to move out of state.
Yes. Yes.
So while we're hanging on that thought that you just said, I don't know if you feel comfortable saying it, but are there leaders that are doing a really good job that we want to continue and reelect? This is an election year.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any legislators that you want to just maybe shout out a little bit?
I'd love to highlight Wendy Thomas.
Okay.
She's doing a lot of really great work around our environment and our like, she has such a great voting record. We are about to release our endorsements for the races.
Okay, that was my next question.
Yes, okay.
So good.
So I don't want to jump the gun on that.
Yeah, that's fine.
But you can find more about our endorsements on our website once we release them. We also produced a series of report cards for our elected officials on their history of voting on our rights, our democracy, and our environment. I don't know if I got those three right, but something close to that. And you know, we've identified some that are really great in that regard, and some that are just F's all the way down. I don't know if I can name any off the top of my head right now.
That's okay. It's so many people up in Concord doing this. I mean, 400 people in the House, 24 in the Senate.
Second largest legislature in the world.
Yeah, it's huge, and there's probably a lot of people to go through, and then they're all up for election every 2 years, so it's a constant churn. So that's got to be very hard to find those leaders that you really want to like park your bus behind and push forward. You know,
totally.
Not a lot of people talk about this stuff. As somebody that did run in 24, I knocked on a lot of houses. This was not really on the top of anybody's list. They want to talk about funding. They want to talk about schools. They want to talk about women's rights. These are all great topics, but climate change does not seem to be on the top. And it's interesting. That's not really the word I want to use. It's
perplexing
because we have to live here.
Yeah.
And nobody cares because we're all going to die before it affects us. But like, when I leave this planet, I want to make sure that my kids are going to be all right. I want to make sure their descendants are okay. I want a better place. So anyway, I'm sorry. I'm going into the whole tangent, but like, this is a passion for me too, as somebody that has seen the nastiness. I mean, well, I think we all have at this point. The hurricanes, the typhoons on the other side of the planet, like the unbelievable heat records that we see. I mean, there was like last week, I think Arizona hit another like record.
Oh,
but they're always hitting it because climate change is getting worse and worse. And yet nobody wants to address it, it feels like.
Yeah, I think that there's a couple different factors that are contributing to that. And one that you touched upon is that like the timeline is so long that it's hard for us to wrap our brains around it.
Yep.
I think also that with everything else going on, especially around affordability and people trying to ensure that they have enough money to pay rent, pay their electricity bills, which we'll touch upon later.
Absolutely.
And to, actually provide food for their family. To add on to that, the added existential threat of our very environment and planet being uninhabitable for human beings, it's a lot to put on your plate. So you gotta take it day by day, step by step.
Sometimes I feel like the only way we're going to reach those people that we're talking about is if reincarnation was real, and then you told them that they were going to have to come back in a different body. And by the way, your world's going to be even more messed up. So enjoy. I think that's the only way. Until it happens to so many people, it's not real.
Yeah.
It seems so.
But no, I think that the climate crisis and our fight for climate justice is so important, because at the end of the day, yes, we are fighting the systems and the effects that are leading to our planet getting warmer. But on another level, we are fighting against, like I said, the systems that are perpetuating this endless desire for profit, this complete disregard for the well-being of our fellow human beings and animals and our plants and everything. The reason that we're in this issue or that we're in this whole debacle is because these systems have ingrained themselves into our like every aspect of our lives, and it's just so hard to uproot. And so when we, have community meetings around like, how's your electricity bill these days? And the answer that I've gotten from everybody is, holy crap.
Yeah.
We are trying to not only, or we're working together to envision a world where our neighbors and our community can support one another, as opposed to having to depend on Mark Zuckerberg for my daily ration of information.
It's the worst.
Right.
I have so much to ask you.
Yeah.
It feels like I'm fascinated by this topic. And here in New Hampshire, especially because our legislature is, they're only in there for 6 months, right? They're from January to June, I guess maybe 5-ish, right? But the point is, we have a part-time Congress, and they're only engaged, basically during bill writing season, which is somewhere between, I think, September and November. And it just feels like we don't really have a government here in New Hampshire that can move quickly and adjust to like new science, new methods, whatever the case is. We live in a very slow moving machine. And then we live in a free state world as well, since, our House Speaker is a free stater. There's a lot of people in here that don't have any interest to further your goals, your organization's goals. And that's scary. But I just want to say that because I want to move into the Eversource issue.
Sure, yeah.
Eversource, I am seeing people post their power bills on Reddit and elsewhere. One, I hope it was a mistake. Out of r/Massachusetts yesterday, the guy got a bill for like $30,000. It was a mistake. I mean, they'll work it out. But even my bills are enormous.
Yeah.
My delivery is more than my supply. Eversource is making billions of dollars in profit.
Yeah, they had
at
record
our
profits
expense
last year.
Yeah, they had great. Their shareholders are doing wonderful. We're not.
No.
What does that look like for you guys? Like, where do you guys step in on that kind of stuff?
Yeah. So, utility justice is what we're working on. So, one of my coworkers, Jen Doobie, is kind of like leading the charge on that. And so with Eversource specifically, we are canvassing and outreaching to people within the communities, especially when we hear, like you have through the grapevine, of like somebody getting hit with a $500 unexpected electricity bill that they just don't know how to respond to it, because who can budget for an additional like $300 or $400 just out of the blue?
It's an insane amount.
It is. And so the current campaign that they're working on is called Return to Sender. So compiling all of these bills that people have, just like the actual physical documents, and then writing on them, like personalizing, like I am not just a name in the system. This is who I am. This is why this is egregious to me. And like, why are you doing this?
Putting a face to a bill.
Exactly. And then we're sending them back to Eversource so that they get them in their mail.
Have you already done this?
No, this is something that we have a group of people that are doing it. If somebody listening to this has a high Eversource bill, reach out to us. 350nh.org. There's a contact us page. Somebody will get back to you. We're a staff of 6. We will respond to you. One of us will personally reach out to you about it. And we want to hear your experience, because it is not okay for the everyday New Hampshireite to be struggling to not only pay their rent, to pay their grocery bills, but then now trying to decide whether or not they want to run the AC during the next heat wave we have this summer or not.
And that can kill people.
It can. So last summer, and I'm sure that we'll be continuing this, we ran a campaign called No Summer Shutoffs, where Eversource has a policy where they won't shut off somebody's electricity during the winter, during like the 3 coldest months of the winter, because to do so might kill somebody. They don't have a policy for that in the summer. So that was our campaign that we ran this past year.
Any success there, or are we still kind of working that?
I don't believe that they've changed the policy.
I imagine it's going to be really hard to change a multi-billion-dollar, multi-state utilities mind, right?
That, and one that has an effective monopoly on not just something that people want, but something that people need to live and to function. Or like you, for people who have something that is a part of, like, well, this isn't like a livelihood thing, but like for people who work at home,
yeah,
that's what they need for their livelihood.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's all to say, send us your electricity bills.
No, absolutely. I'll make sure that I, when I'm talking to people and they're like, you wouldn't believe my bill, I'll be like, I got somebody that you need to reach out to. Cause I think it's a powerful way. Most communities are underneath monopoly. Like you can't just switch. I mean, it was like that for the longest time for internet providers.
Yes.
Where, they would lock into one town and they couldn't have any other competitors. So this is very similar to that. I want that utility justice. There is no reason the bills I get, I won't say what they are on air, but
sure,
they're huge.
Yeah.
My bills will range. If nobody's home, we take a month off or whatever, and we were to go somewhere, maybe it's like $100.
Okay.
And that's still high for a lot of people in New Hampshire. I've gotten bills all the way up to $1,400 in the last 8 years. Like,
my God,
it fluctuates. So I have to look every 6 months when they do the rates. Do I go third party? What do I do? And this is what so many people do.
Sure. Yeah.
I didn't even know about this for the first few years I lived in New Hampshire, that you could go and get a third party supplier. And like, I feel stuck. So one thing I did was, in 2020, we put in heat pumps.
Okay.
And the whole house is electric. So obviously that raises my bill in the winter and the summer. But I haven't bought oil in 4 years.
Congratulations.
Right?
I just filled mine up.
That's huge. 200 gallons right now is over $1,000. And 200 gallons for a decent sized home will not last long.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not telling you anything you don't know.
No. But I want to hear it.
This is something that the average person's feeling.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm stuck. I can't do anything about that.
No.
I mean, I'd love to put solar, but how do you put solar on your roof when you got tariffs? You got a government that's anti green energy. Like, I'm just ranting.
No, you're good. But you're touching upon something that we also, this is within the purview of utility justice, is resiliency. And how can our electric grid, how can our home heating infrastructure be resilient when we are not exploring options for wind, when we're not exploring options for solar or geothermal, when New Hampshire is really focused on fracked gas and oil, and we closed down 350 New Hampshire, and other organizations work together to close the last coal-fired power plant in the Northeast.
Thank you.
yeah, no, thank you for not liking coal. I don't know.
Like clean coal there's no such thing.
There is no such thing.
Zero. I mean, just look at the miners coming out of the mines. They
Right.
have black lung. I mean, it's not a funny thing, but like, it's the thought that somebody could say clean coal with a straight face is beyond me, because they're lying to us. They're lying to every single person, and they're not doing the right thing.
Yeah,
it's gotta be frustrating.
Very much so. So that's that was the goal of our one of our campaigns, No Coal, No Gas. And what they're focusing on now, after the closure of that plant, is what's called peak busting. So are you familiar with like the peaker plants that we have in the state?
I don't think I am. I think I took that in a different way as far as peak power usage.
No, that's
the time
exactly
of the day.
it. Yes.
Oh, okay. Then we are on the same.
Yeah, no, you got it.
Okay.
So during peak usage, we have power plants that some of them burn off of like essentially jet fuel, like really dirty energy.
That's awful stuff.
Yes,
as
it
I've
is.
already said. Yes.
And during peak usage, they turn on. And the thing about the peaker plants is that we are paying for them to stay open when they are not in use, and then we're paying them for when they are in use. So it's really not great for us as residents of New Hampshire because we pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
So the peak busting, the intention is to do what's called demand response. And so we identify times of day, times of year, days of week where we know that there's going to be a peak demand for energy, and we intentionally organize events, get people to coordinate themselves in such a way where instead of 20 people independently being in their own home scrolling on their phones with the AC running on high, just trying to get, I'm not like demonizing that. Like I get it. You got to relax. You got to stay cool in the summer. I run hot, and
Same.
The idea of not being able to cool down during the summer is terrifying to me because I just get so grouchy when I'm
absolutely
hot.
I leave mine going all year round, 70.
Yeah, okay.
And that's why my electric bill is so high.
That might do it.
Yeah. And I'm fine with that. It sucks, but you know.
So instead of 20 people independently cooling their homes, they might do a potluck at somebody's house, and they'll run the AC and keep things cool. But like everybody's staying cool in one home, doing a potluck, having a good time. Maybe somebody has a pool and everybody goes to do a little pool party, and everybody gets to cool off together instead of, and so when we can, No Coal, No Gas engages with ISO New England.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to get the acronym wrong, but it's
a lot of acronyms. It's fine.
I feel like it's Independent Service. Oh no, I'm not going to try.
Okay.
Whatever it may be. We can go to them and say, this is what happens when people come together as a community, when we reduce the demand for energy instead of just, raising prices on people to help mitigate. Yeah, go ahead.
So you're not, I just want to understand, so you're not asking people to necessarily shut off the air conditioner. Mm-hmm. You're trying to give them an alternative to do something else that doesn't consume as much?
Yes, precisely.
Yeah, okay.
And really, so part of the peak busting is like being around the peaker plants and observing when they are running. And then we'll say like, oh, peaker plants are on, like peak energy usage is now.
Wait, how do you know? I need to know.
You see them running.
You can hear it? Like there's a sound, there's a visual?
You can
like
see the
that?
emissions.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's that obvious. Holy cow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have just somebody out there, or how, like, I don't know how,
so
like,
people within the community that, that live near.
Like
so like, for example, there's, there are different ways that people communicate with one another about this.
I'm sorry. I'm just fascinated in all of this.
Yeah.
So,
for example, there's the peaker plant in Newington, and that is blocks away from the Gosling Meadows, like housing development, across the street from what was the Fox Run Mall. And
wait, that big stack that's always putting out the white. Like I always thought that was steam. Maybe I'm thinking about the wrong one. I'm thinking about between exit 3 and 4 on 16.
I think that's a different.
Okay.
I
I
think
just
that's a
want to
different
make
thing.
sure because I would like to know where these are too.
Yeah. So, God, is that that's not the Schiller site. I think that it's just. I might have to get back to you.
It's okay. We'll dive in later.
But last summer we canvassed that community because it's due for an emissions test, and once they are up for an emissions test, there can be a community hearing about it. Excuse me. And we canvassed that region, or rather canvassed that neighborhood to let people know what was upcoming, asking them about their experiences. Would you care to guess how many people in that community experience like chronic asthma?
Oh, I bet you it's a ton.
It's
Has
a
to
lot.
be, right?
Almost everybody we talked to either experienced it themselves or knew somebody in their community or their household that had asthma.
That's scary.
It is.
That can kill you.
Exactly.
For sure. Yeah.
100%.
Oh.
And I combine that with, not to catastrophize, but like combine that with somebody, you have asthma, there's a heat wave, you don't have the money to run your electricity, so you turn the AC off, and then you're so hot and you can't breathe. Like that's a recipe for disaster.
And the inhalers have gone up so much because of our policies that some people are skipping buying their inhalers and their refills. And some young gentleman died like a month ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I had read the news, and he had to choose between buying an inhaler or finishing paying his rent. Paid his rent, passed away. That's a sad day. Mm-hmm. Our community should be up in arms over this stuff, and they're not. Sorry,
No,
but this is real. This is very real. People's lives are on the line, and you're going out there and doing the right thing, and not just you, but your whole organization, and letting people know.
So and all of our volunteers. Control. We have a really amazing network of volunteers that are engaged in our separate campaigns.
I want to thank everybody involved right now. Just thank you so much for caring enough about New Hampshire to go out there and do it. For the uneducated like myself, and I'd imagine so many other people that just don't have the time because they got to work, they have families they're raising, they got other things going on. This is all very scary and eye-opening.
Yes.
So the peaker plants, you go out there, you tell everybody, what's the reaction? Do they care?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. It's like so many of the people that we spoke to were, let me know the date when this community meeting is happening, because I have words that I want to share with the folks that are trying to keep this peaker plant in our community. Because honestly, like, there's no reason why we shouldn't. Do you know what one of the like primary concerns that was raised when there were hearings on whether or not to allow wind energy off the coast?
If my guess is anything of value, it would be they don't look pretty.
That was certainly raised.
Yeah.
There were some like pseudoscientific reports that they raised to try to like to appear pro-environmentalist, where it was like, oh, it disrupts the whales when you.
I see.
And like, I don't think that that's necessarily true.
If we cared, we wouldn't have sonar.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
So those arguments, they fall on these deaf ears, quite literally and figuratively.
That's good. But no, I mean, we wouldn't need the peaker plants if we had invested in solar, or if we do invest in solar. Like, I'm here for folks, everybody's roof. If you want to have a solar panel on your roof, you should be able to get one. If we should be able to have wind energy in our state, we should be able to have clean and renewable energy and public transportation. I mean, that's an entirely separate thing.
Oh, there's a long list of things that we should have.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't see any of that coming through the legislature.
I think a lot of that is just because of the age of our state, and it's a big retirement home. And that's why I said in the beginning that it won't affect a lot of people that are here because they're old, they're going to die, they don't care. They just want to be able to ride their motorcycle the last couple times they can and see their way out. I don't know what it is in their head because, for me, I'm over here trying to live
Yeah.
as long as I can.
Yeah.
And so, all these things, the high energy bills, dangerous chemicals in my everywhere, my yard, my air, my water, all these things are really important. I imagine not just to me, but if I went to each one of my neighbors' houses, I bet you, regardless of their political standing,
Mm-hmm.
they would want clean air, clean water, clean earth. And so the pushback, the projection that we always get usually comes from a dirty organization, a corporation, somebody with a financial investment or a financial tie to doing the wrong thing.
Right.
And I want to push as much of the right thing that I can, at least. And I imagine my neighbors would too. You already talked to a couple things that you guys are spinning up, getting ready to endorse and all that. Do you have any other big projects like on the horizon that maybe somebody listening to this could come in on or help out this summer or later on?
Yeah. We are doing a big fundraising drive for this upcoming month in April with Earth Day coming up on the 22nd. So that's something that we'll be focusing on. The unfortunate reality of, the reality of a nonprofit organization is that you need grassroots funding, or at least we do. We do some grant work. But a lot of our income comes from small monthly donors, like people donating $5 or $10 a month. So doing a big push for that this coming month, and we'll be at a lot of different events. I'm going to be at the Souhegan Sustainability Fair tomorrow.
Where's that at?
It's in Milton.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about 30 minutes from here. It's about that.
Well, no, Milford.
Milford.
My mistake.
Okay.
My mistake. Nope. I was like, no, it's not 30 minutes away. I like to joke. I've been a New Hampshire resident since I was 7 years old. I moved here from California with my family.
Okay.
My mom was actually in the Air Force.
Really?
Yeah. She was a nurse.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
So she was stationed out there. We moved back here. So I've lived here since I was 7, and I swear I learn a new name of a town every week that I've just never heard of.
I do too. Even just being here, somebody will say, "Oh yeah, this place over here," and I'm like, "Wait, that's in New Hampshire?"
Yeah.
So many towns in New England have the same names, like New London and stuff like that. Like there's New London, Connecticut. That's where I'm from. There's also New London, New Hampshire. So when somebody says that, I'm like, "Oh, where are you talking about?"
Yeah. No, I get you.
Okay, so you guys are going out to Milford.
Yeah, we'll also be heading to Green Wave Electric, like electric vehicles. We're doing a potluck there. Yeah, and so just a community event. Bring some food, get to meet the people, and like people will have the opportunity to like drive new electric vehicles and like test drive them. My understanding is that the demand for electric vehicles is definitely going up these days, with gas prices rising and not.
That's an interesting segment to discuss, and I don't know if you want to, but the electrical vehicles. I mean, we've seen the federal government take down their incentives. We've seen big charging programs to put chargers everywhere be taken down. Tesla is not selling any cars. The big automakers, they're shutting down their EV factories because of tariffs, and it comes down to the bottom line that you were talking about. Then Canada says to China, we'll take your BYD cars, and I've heard nothing but amazing things, like people saying how good they are, like how cheap they are. I think China is going to eat our lunch, hands down, in so many areas. Yeah. But I am kind of excited about the BYD cars.
This is an instance where you are going to have to inform me about what it was. BYD.
It's a company.
Okay.
It's just like it's like their largest BYD
Gotcha.
is the Chinese car maker, and the U.S. won't let them in. Right? We don't, because Elon Musk owns the government, and he wants to sell you Tesla. He doesn't want you buying a BYD. No. So Donald Trump made sure that took place, obviously. But I think as our borders open up again, hopefully past 2028, we will see these cars on our roads.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I think when Americans see these cars, the quality, the what you get for your money is absolutely there from what I hear. And I heard the drive is amazing.
Cool.
I even want to say that Marcus Brownlee, I think he did a video and he went over to China maybe and he test drove the car.
Okay.
I only saw like a clip of the video and I think he was even saying he was super impressed and you know, he was a Tesla fan. Oh, you know what I think it was? I think that he said he liked the BYD and he sold his Cybertruck and then Elon Musk unfollowed him on Twitter.
Okay.
Whole mess. But that's kind of like the state of our electric vehicles in this country.
Okay.
That whole nightmare of like America's not doing it.
No.
That's the bottom line.
And we're leaving money on the table. Like, it's one of those things where we're so, like, oil and fossil fuels are so ingrained into our economy to the point where we have not invested in the infrastructure. We haven't invested in the necessary changes to the way in which we operate to make that transition easy. And so we've really shot ourselves in the foot here.
Yeah. Well, I think from the green energy point of view, we're going to have to legislate corporations and mandate them to transition. That's the only way, you know, because otherwise there's very little incentive to force them. And a lot of people think that if you just drive less, you know, if Americans just worked a 4-day week, you know, instead, that we would like save a bunch and we would to some degree, but the overwhelming, like the people that are making our planet dirty are the corporations and the wealthy, taking private planes to everywhere, you know, dumping, shooting, you know, chemicals into our air. It's all that. Is that true? Am I right in that assumption that it's mostly corporations, or is that outside your scope? It may be. I don't know.
I don't know what the actual breakdown is. It's my understanding that the largest organization that is the largest polluter on our planet currently is, unfortunately, the United States military.
Oh, I believe that.
Yes.
Hands down, I believe that.
Yeah.
I did 21 years almost. I've seen it with my own eyes. We do it in other countries. We do it here in the U.S. You can look at almost any nightmare. We have around 800 military installations around the world. You can go to any one of those and probably pull some kind of environmental study, and that will be the ground zero of the worst place and wherever that is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I fully agree. But that's also because I want to state this for people that don't know.
Yeah.
U.S. military obviously is underneath federal control.
Yes.
They do not have to do anything for the state. They don't have to agree to anything. They don't have, because it's separation. And that's dangerous because nobody's looking over the military. You hear things like, well, the inspector general has looked at it or something like that. But those are also federal people. So when like Pease Air Force Base was an actual Air Force base and it was huge and it had everything, the state of New Hampshire had no say in what they did behind that fence. And it's like that everywhere. So not a surprise. Yeah. And I hope that me saying this to a lot of people isn't a big surprise either.
I can't imagine it would be. Maybe. I mean, we've seen the extent to which the United States has planes, like everything else that pollutes, the ground vehicles, the tanks, what have you. And then of course we see, go ahead.
No, I got this while you were saying this. And I want to put this out because I want to give some kind of number and some kind of, like image for somebody to think about this when we're talking about the military. I was stationed in North Carolina, and being a fuels guy, we had a roughly, this is off. I'm not going to give any kind of like real numbers here.
Go ahead.
But I'll get close enough.
Sure.
4 million gallons of jet fuel on hand at any time, coming in from train, from boat, from truck, whatever, right?
Okay.
This is one installation. So you can times it by 800 by the time I'm done with this to get the number. The base, Seymour Johnson Air Force Base, hosts F-15E, F-15 Eagle models. They hold approximately 3,200 gallons of jet fuel. Without the bags, with the bags, the fuel bags that hang on the wings, it's closer to 5,000. And then we have on the other side of the base, same base, roughly 10 refuelers. Now, this could probably have all changed by now. I do not keep up with the bases. But at the time, we would issue all that jet fuel daily. We would go through, I think, somewhere around the neighborhood of 30 plus million gallons of jet fuel, gasoline, and diesel per month.
Oh my God.
Okay. So I was in a 100-man work center, and we had people that did nothing but take fuel in, and then I would put it in my truck and drive it out. 32 million gallons of fuel, 30 million gallons of fuel. It depends, obviously, what's going on.
Right.
But like every time a plane goes up in the air, it burns almost everything. So like if I put 3,200 gallons of jet fuel on an F-15E, it will go up and it will use almost every single bit until it lands. And then they'll go up 3 or 4 times a day. The average fighter base could have 100 plus sorties per day.
Oh.
And a sortie is a flight.
Okay.
So think about 100, you get 100 plus times. Cause if you are in like operations, if you're spinning up to go to the Middle East or something like that, maybe you're doubling that. And that's a lot. It's a lot of fuel. It's a lot of exhaust. That's a lot of harmful stuff in our soil. I wanted to give a little bit. And again, these aren't classified numbers. This is not anything like that. This is probably very public. You can go to any installation, look up how much fuel they're using, how much they take in, take out, obviously, and do these numbers. These are enormous numbers.
Yeah.
So there. Sorry, I wanted to give that context.
That was very illuminating.
Yeah.
And it really just speaks to how much the U.S. military pollutes the world.
It's a huge sum.
Yeah, yeah. And so I spoke earlier about how we as an organization respond to, or rather work with other orgs to respond to other events that are happening. So we work sometimes with New Hampshire Peace Action. And in response to the recent, the ongoing war in Iran, we're, as an organization and as a climate justice organization, we very much oppose the act of war against, other countries, especially needless in the way that Trump is going about things.
Yeah, this is needless. This will be one of the biggest blunders of the United States. If anybody thought Vietnam was bad, this is going to be so much worse, and not in the same vein. Very different. Like going to war, especially, well, no, just going to war in general, it should be a very like last ditch effort, and it should be for a good reason. And I think that this is a very large mistake that's going to come back and bite a lot of leaders. Like, I was just having this conversation this morning. I don't want to go too political in this, but
well, I mean, we are.
Yeah, we are doing politics.
This is what we're doing.
At the end of the day, I think Iran is going to go after the people in the administration, and not. I mean, there's a possibility that they go after just everyday Americans. But I feel like this beef is very personal to the administration. But war is bad. I'm against it.
It's super bad.
Like, unless it's like self-defense, like there's no reason for us to be spending these resources, putting Americans in harm. We've lost soldiers. We've lost airmen. We've lost people that should still be here. Yeah. And it's wrong. And there's war crimes. I hope that there's going to be some kind of justice at the end of this.
There needs to be.
Yeah.
And beyond that too, like all of the Iranian civilians that have been killed, like
so many. Yeah, I'm only speaking from the American side, but yes, none of those people should be dead either.
No,
right? Like it was disgusting of them killing their protesters. It was disgusting. I could go on and on forever.
We could.
I don't want to lose the environmental piece of this, but
that's why I brought it up.
Okay.
Is just that there is intersection there between the destruction of our environment. Like war is such it destroys the very environment that people live in, to the point where people can't live there anymore, and it pollutes and it causes people to inhale and consume and take in carcinogens into their body that they just don't you don't need to do that. We don't need to do this to
No,
people.
absolutely. I think about the Iraq burn pits, for example. You know, I have to go to the VA quite a bit to get treatments and stuff like that. And I see those waiting rooms full of people that were on front lines that were doing, you know, burn pits and everything else in other countries. And it's devastating.
Yeah.
We're not ready to add people to the VA. You know what I mean? Like, cause like they're not investing in this. So they're making more disabled veterans by doing these wars that are going to come home and not get the care that they need. But from the environmental place, I think you make a really good point. I think of things like the A-10 Warthog, right? I saw a video of this from the Middle East yesterday on Reddit. A lot of people don't know this, but an A-10 Warthog shoots depleted uranium shells.
Okay.
It is one of the densest materials that you can put, and the point of it is so they cut through a tank.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Right? And 1,800 rounds per minute is what an A-10 can put down.
Okay.
That's a lot of depleted uranium that you're not going to recover because you're just shooting it into somebody else's environment. You're not coming back and getting that.
Right. And what do we care if some, oh my God, that's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. See, these are things that are in my head, and that's a big reason why I wanted to have like this kind of conversation. This won't be the last one.
No, I'm sure.
I want to have many more of these, you know?
Yeah.
But yes, war is going to litter so many countries with horrible chemicals that it's going to take. I don't know if you ever recover.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, we haven't lived long enough to know.
That's why we have to protest it, and why we need to speak out against it happening. And like at the end of the day, like who is it benefiting but those amongst us that are already extraordinarily rich and extraordinarily powerful, like
shamefully so too.
Shamefully, yes.
Can I ask you a little bit of a personal question?
Shoot.
Why do you want to work at 350 NH? Why do you want to do this? Why don't you just go do something easy?
That's a great question.
If you want to think about it, we can always talk about something else, and then you can come back to that.
No. I'm happy to answer it.
Yeah.
So, I've worked with young people for a long time. I've worked with young people in a lot of different capacities. I have worked as a special education paraeducator. I have worked. Appreciate it. Yep. I've worked as a supervisor at at a children's home here in Dover, or over in Dover. I have worked as a before and after school care coordinator. I've worked as a support teacher in preschool classrooms, and I've worked in like varying capacities with like high school students in like support groups and whatnot. And through working with young people, I have been benefited by their perspectives, their energy, their love of life. And I have such a drive to help the young people that like come into my life and that I interact with within my current position and in my previous ones. I want to support them to be the best people that they can be, because our planet, our country, our communities, we need people who can be their best selves. And you can't be your best self when there are systemic challenges to your very existence. You can't be your best self when the planet is unlivable. You can't be your best self when your neighbors are being abducted in the middle of the night without due process. And so what drew me to this position and what drives me to continue this work is, I think, what I touched upon earlier, of just connecting the right tools, the right the right understanding of, sorry, that's not accurate, the right tools and access to different perspectives on why things are the way that they are. It's never my intention to tell a young person like, this is my philosophy and this is how you should be viewing things. And if you don't view things within this specific academic lens, like, you're not getting the whole picture. But when they come and when we talk together about things that are going on with ICE or things that are going on in our state about how companies like Saint-Gobain are getting away with dumping PFAS into our waterways, or how our legislature is all messed up, I try my best to give them perspective. I think like one of the more important books that was written in the 20th century and continues to be updated, Howard Zinn's People's History of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is a great example of how history and civics can be presented in such a way that really highlights the struggles of people, and how resistance to like the accumulation of wealth and power is not new. It's something that we've been doing for generations, really all throughout history, and especially American history. And so when these students are going out and walking out of their schools in protests of the horrific actions of ICE, they're a part of that continued history. And if I can help those students realize that and help them to understand that they're not, a subject to history, but are rather a part of it,
mm-hmm.
I've done my job and I can go home happy.
That's a lot of passion. A lot of people don't have that. Not in this regard, because it's hard to, I imagine it's just hard to get out of your way, right? Paying the bills and raising family, all that stuff. And then like still finding time. This is probably something you're going to do for the rest of your life, right?
I hope so.
Right.
I really love this job. I love the work that we do. I love the people that I work with.
How many people kind of like interact with your organization? Is it a large organization? You had said earlier that there's 6 of you, but like volunteers and the extended part, like how big of an organization are you?
Yeah, so we have 6 full-time staff. I work with and coordinate a team of 6 fellows. And then we have a couple of like stipended volunteers that do work for us to an extent where like you're volunteering for us, but you're doing enough work where this is kind of like a part-time job for you. So we're actually going to pay you, because people deserve to be paid for their labor.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially young people. I think that the idea of the unpaid internship is,
I hope, dead. Honestly,
sadly no. Sadly no.
I mean, that's terrible.
Yeah,
like, but people do deserve to be paid. But okay,
yeah. But I mean, like, as a progressive nonprofit, like, we advocate for workers' rights, and so why would we not put our money where our mouth is, quite literally, and actually pay folks for the labor that they're doing? We have an outreach list of about 8,000 people that are like regularly receiving emails from us and whatnot, and I would say, oh goodness, we have a couple of like local chapter groups within Salem and Manchester and other communities. I would say that we have a volunteer network of around, I hope that I'm not flubbing this, I want to say like around 100 people.
That's a good amount of people.
And these are folks that we can put a blast out and say like, hey, we have an action that we need help on, or we have a writing group that gets together, and like if we're writing an op-ed or a letter to the editor, or if we're doing the climate justice report cards for our legislators, they'll be able to read it and edit it within like a couple days. So people whose skills might not seem directly related to activism and environmentalism can come and join us and get involved in such a way that a little goes a long way, especially when we're all working together.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
You've said it a few times about like people having skills that can come in and help, and that's not lost on me. I say it a few times on this podcast, like, this isn't a money project for me. I don't I don't need to get paid for this. Like if it happens, it happens. I'll take my wife out to dinner or something like that. But
Great.
the reason why I do this is because I can't go stand at an intersection and hold a sign for hours and hours. My knees are shot from my service. Like
Right.
my back pain, like, and I'm using just me as an story here, but like for me, I sat down and thought, how can I give back? How can I make this world a better place? So I ran for Congress.
Mm-hmm.
That was one. I talked to my neighbors and tried to get them to see the bigger picture. And I always do that. If I'm interacting with somebody from the community, I'm always trying to, put my progressive ideas out there, get people on board with making this a better place. My skills is talking, writing, doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I've always done this. I've been doing this for almost 30 years. This is what I can do. So for me, I know that I can record a podcast. I can cut it up later. We can share clips, all that stuff, and get this information out to people in their living room when they're relaxed, when they're hanging out. Maybe they see the thumbnail and they're like, I want to know more. Other people can do that too. Not this necessarily, but write postcards, go knock on doors, go show up somewhere with a sign. There are so many avenues that people can go and contribute. And it is so nice to hear people are doing that, showing up for pica plants and chemicals in our water. There's so many causes here in New Hampshire. And I do love that part of it because there's so many people out here that care. I'm in a lot of Facebook groups that are passionate about, our waterways having invasive species. Yeah. There's like an endless lines of things that need to be done. And I'm hoping anybody that's hearing me say this right now, I hope that the summer, the spring, sometime when you are ready and you have a skill, come out, help, make this a better place. We can do this together.
Absolutely.
And that is really a powerful thing when we can bring people together.
Yeah.
And everybody has their own little thing, and I love that because we don't need everybody doing something.
Right.
That's what makes you guys unique, right? Everybody's kind of pitching in their own little way.
Yes, exactly. I think like if we're looking at the youth team as a microcosm for that, we have some like delineated roles within it. So we have like facilitation and action leads who help like facilitate the meetings, like do the agendas, do the help like lead actions when we do them. We have some social media leads, and we have who like put out information on our social media, who make flyers for like in-person things, who really like promote getting the word out about our events. And then we have like recruitment leads who help get more people involved, more young people involved in our organization. And I think that that's a really great representation of like what you need to have a campaign be successful. Is people leading, people getting the word out, and people getting more people.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Are you optimistic about New Hampshire's future?
I am.
Do you think we beat everybody that's trying to hold us back? Like, can we get in front of this?
Yeah. And you know what? I think that at the end of the day, sorry, I did the thing.
No, you're fine.
At the end of the day, the power of community, the power of people. So I mentioned earlier that I work, I used to work with like very young children. Like I would float around the different classrooms, but my like wheelhouse was like 3, 4, 5, like that like older young child.
Yeah.
And I wholeheartedly believe that it is within our nature, within our inherent selves as human beings, that we want belonging, that we want community, that we want connection with one another. And I think that the way in which my organization and other organizations that we work with, and the way in which you purport yourself, all of that is in line with trying to strengthen the bonds between us. And I think that a lot of what we're up against is this manufactured idea that man is inherently sinful or inherently self-interested or inherently, I don't even know what. and that in order to get yours, you need to push somebody else down. That all this is a zero-sum game, and it's either you win or you lose. And I think and that's A, patently false, and B, harms us all in the end.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, when you ask, am I optimistic about this state and like what we're fighting for? Yes, because I think that it's what will happen when we realize what's.
Do you ever testify in Concord? Personally? I'm sure your organization does, but do you?
I'd like to. There was an opportunity for me to testify earlier this year. I think on the PFAS bill around the agriculture, the bioremediation. I unfortunately wasn't able to.
No, it's not always easy to get up there, and it's difficult. Parking's difficult. Like all of it.
I was sick that day, unfortunately. Yeah. But I'd love to testify in Concord. Why do you ask?
Well, I only ask that question because I do go up and I testify on certain bills.
Yeah.
And it's just it's disheartening sometimes to look at the other side when I'm testifying, and even if it's not environmental, just they just ignore you. It doesn't matter. When you go up and testify in Concord, it's exhausting because you want to go up there, do the right thing, tell people, you're like, no, seriously, this is bad. Like you should look at this. And then they turn around and they just vote against you anyway. And that's exhausting. So I was just wondering if you had like that personal experience of like sitting in front of all those Free Staters, the Republicans, and, trying to make a plea for them just to completely disregard you. Because that's why I asked that question though. That was an eye-opening experience for me, and it was kind of disheartening. But then I on my way home, I just thought to myself, hey, don't give up.
Yeah.
Just because you didn't win today doesn't mean you can't win tomorrow.
What did you speak on?
Cannabis legalization.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's a passion for me personally, just because of pain management.
Totally.
I see a lot of disabled veterans being hooked on opiates, and that we all know is really, really bad. So I want to push. That's just one of my personal projects.
Yeah.
Obviously I have others as well, but I always go up and I try to speak on any legalization bills because I'm against private prisons, holding people for like simple possession, ruining people's lives for a plant, essentially, whatever that is.
Right.
And so I like to go up there and try to make the world a little bit better place, say my piece. They record me, all that stuff.
Well, thank you for doing that.
But
I think that's really important.
Yeah, I my pleasure doing it for sure. We just need people up there that do it. I'm not saying you in particular, but I just wanted to see how much do you engage with Concord? I've met a lot of the legislature, and there's a lot of good people up there.
Yeah,
a lot of good people. So I'm very interested to see who you guys endorse this year.
Yes.
I'm fascinated because a lot of people don't talk about it on their campaign. So I'm looking forward to kind of seeing where you guys sit with that.
Yeah. I'm really excited for our endorsements. We just went through a more collective endorsement process. But then we're also voting actually right now, this weekend. Our staff and our board are voting on who we're endorsing for the CD1 race. And really excited about it.
I'm excited for the CD1. I'm gonna give a little pitch for that real quick.
No, please do your thing.
Here in Barrington, we are holding the U.S. CD1 candidate forum.
Oh, wonderful. Okay,
April 8th, from 6 to 8.
Cool.
And for anybody that can't make it, I'm recording it.
Great.
So they're recording the audio. I'm setting up these cameras, and I'm going to post it on this YouTube channel.
I love that.
In the future, because we only have enough seats for 100 people. We have 10,000 people in just
Barrington.
Just in Barrington,
wonderful.
just over 10,000 now. And but CD1's huge.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see who you guys endorse.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unknowns. You guys are going to endorse state candidates too, I assume. But we don't know who those are going to be just yet because that's a June thing. Yeah. But fascinating.
Yeah. And I'm also, first off, another great example of you using your skills to make the world a better place. And then as a connected aside, I'm really interested to see the whole governor race. Because who
Yeah, well, we're a little early, I think.
Yes.
And I talked with Marcy on the last episode of this just briefly. I know John Kuiper
Hmm.
personally.
I
I
lived in
know,
Newmarket for a few years.
yeah,
He
so he's a
slung me a
staple
few
there.
sandwiches.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, Cindy Warmington, I've met her. Um, I've engaged with a lot of these people, but there's so many unknowns because we don't know who's actually going to run.
Hmm.
Our primary is in September. They don't have to register until I think June 6th is I
Goodness.
believe.
Yeah.
So we still have a couple months before people actually have to announce. But if you're running for governor, you should have done it last year because it takes a lot to get the name recognition. Yeah, I'm curious too. I'm
Yeah.
not endorsing anybody yet.
No.
I'm not even trying to speculate. I do think that the Republican ticket will have a hard time, even as the incumbent, because of
so.
the national politics
Yeah.
and even the state politics. I think it has pushed a lot of people a little bit more left.
Hmm.
And I think that's going to be a big problem this year for New Hampshire.
Yes.
So I believe, and I can say this now, I believe that I don't know about the Senate, but I think the House will go blue, and I think the governor's seat will go blue. I don't think the executive council will go blue, and I doubt the Senate will go blue, just because of the makeup and the way that their constituency is shaped, I guess you could say, right? The gerrymandering.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Those are just my initial thoughts. Obviously, I want it all to go blue.
Yes. And in the meantime, we need to protect voter rights and fight against any instance of voter suppression.
Yes.
This is not my my purview, but my understanding is that student voting has been suppressed this coming year.
You're talking about college students?
Yes, college students.
Yeah. They're trying to make it so they can't vote.
Yes.
Which is wrong. And because you bring it up, I just want to say,
no, please.
These people live here the majority of the year. I don't care if they live in another state. Their primary residency is here. They should be able to vote. They should be able, I don't care if they're coming in from Massachusetts or other blue states to make our state blue. They are residents.
Yes.
And taking away anybody's right to vote is wrong.
Yeah.
All right, I've said my piece
off
my soapbox, but these are scary things. Like voting suppression, like people need to have a plan.
Yeah.
Get out there and vote.
Yes. And intimidation.
Yes.
Voters should not feel intimidated.
And I think we're going to see some of that in November, unfortunately. I hope that our communities are strong enough to overcome that. I hope that we will all get a chance to vote in the way that, so our voices are heard. Super, super scary. The next 6 months plus, I have no idea how this is going to roll. Every day seems to be just another escalation of some type.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know if this is either here nor not. I don't know if this is within what we're talking about, but like with the recent addition of like the TSA to, or rather ICE agents filling in for TSA or what have you.
Yeah, that's wrong too.
It's super wrong, but I feel as though the intention behind it is to normalize their presence.
Yeah.
And
it's a dry run, according to at least Steve Bannon, that this is the dry run to see if Americans will fight back if they put ICE at polls.
And that's what I unfortunately expect to see.
Yeah. And while I understand, I've seen some feedback of like, well, there's only 22,000 ICE people, ICE agents, and there's, so many polling places. They're going to focus on the most important ones that, we know this going in. I just hope that our communities are strong enough to overcome it. Pat, this has been amazing. We're coming up on the end, and I always give the guests the last word if I can. Please, can you take the time to plug 350NH, any projects that you are coming, tell people where they can find you guys, all of that?
Yes. So 350 New Hampshire. You can find us at 350nh.org and 350newhampshireaction.org. That's our C4. And if you have anything that you want to talk to us about, if you are interested in our campaigns, anything that you've heard on this so far, if you have a concern, if you see something in your community that you want changed, especially around climate or environmental justice, reach out to us. on our website. And there you'll also find a lot of information about our current campaigns, ways to get involved, and some like little secrets about your legislators that you might not know about, and how they maybe have some really wild ideas about the environment and climate. And if you have a skill that you want to use, or if you're feeling helpless or discouraged, there is a place for you to get plugged in. And it might not be 350 New Hampshire. It might be another organization in this state. But if there was an issue that you were concerned about, there was a way to get involved and to help.
Wow, thank you. All of this has been so eye-opening, and I just want to say sincerely thank you. Thank you to 350 NH to even agreeing to come out and participate with this.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Oh, I want to do this again because this is such a huge subject that I hope we can find time to do it soon. I want to dive in even further in some of these subjects. So